Chapter 4, Part 2. Most of the gossip about Kip at the college started with that question. As his fellows were leaving the hall, he felt awkward and ridiculous, and worst of all, ignored. To be shunned after your first lecture was disastrous. "I want to go home," Kip muttered to himself. "I've made a terrible mistake coming here." Kip hummed back and waited for everyone to leave, and then with his head hung in shame, he headed to the library where he could hide amongst the books. But all wasn't lost. For standing outside the theatre were his new comrades, Sebastian and Spike, and as Kip hurried past, Spike called out to him, and Kip recognised at once the voice of a friend and smiled. "How was it?" asked Spike. "Terrible. It couldn't have been any worse." "Why? What happened?" "I only made a complete fool out of myself." "Don't look so worried," said Sebastian. "It happens to us all. It'll all be forgotten by tomorrow." Of course it wouldn't be, but for now, Sebastian and Spike's kind words had brought a little reassurance and a smile to Kip's face. Many of the second and third year students at the college were also intrigued to learn about Kip and his unexpected arrival. After the drama session was over, gossip soon spread around campus. Questions like, "Why has Hop's younger brother come to this college?" Or sometimes put more flippantly, "What is this crazy kid doing here? Is it revenge that he wants?" Questions like these were usually spoken in a mysterious manner, but to Kip they were hateful and cruel. But Kip's question still remained. Why did an intelligent and respectable young man like Hop go and get himself murdered? "Weren't you embarrassed standing up on stage without your clothes on?" "Not really, Kip," Sebastian answered. "I was in the school swim team. I'm used to getting eyeballed in my trunks." The boys laughed at the silliness of it all, and everything seemed back to normal as they walked off together. At the end of the session, the drama lecturer had reminded the class to start reading the key texts from the reading list, the list that the students had received during the summer. So many of the students on Kip's course had headed straight to the bookshop, which was situated in a round wooden hut close to the student bar. There were rows upon rows of books inside, new and shiny, waiting to send their pleasing paper smell up into the first nose placed between the virginal pages. Virginal, yet hardly as innocent, in its task to infiltrate and subvert the all too eager young mind in its search for enlightenment. Sebastian and Kip entered, Spike choosing to wait outside as he had noticed Stella walking a little way behind. Once inside, Candice, the shop assistant, walked over towards the boys from behind her counter to inquire as to what books were on the students' reading list for the new term. She had not seen these three boys before and guessed correctly that they were first years. She was a full-figured girl with curves that would send any art student reaching for his brushes. But more importantly, she was friendly and well-liked, both amongst the students and the lecturers. "She's coming over," Sebastian whispered to Kip, who was standing next to him and flicking through a copy of Stanislavski. "Theatre arts or dramatic arts?" she said, in a firm yet soft voice. "We're both taking dramatic arts," Sebastian said, raising an eyebrow. "Then you'll need to familiarise yourselves with these core texts," she said, selecting various books from the shelf, then handing them over to Kip. "Do you have your reading lists?" she asked. "Yes," said Sebastian, reaching into his jacket pocket and pulling out a crumpled piece of paper. "Well, I suggest you start with these 4 editions, plus the 3 Stanislavskis." "Okay," Kip said. "There's a good introduction on exploring self and a good chapter on improvisation methods you can try." "A set of the same for me, then," Sebastian said, looking at the books in his friend's hand. "I shouldn't be saying this," Candice said, "but it might be an idea to share these, so you can save some of your money." Her kind suggestions were the reason why Candice was so popular amongst the students. Although it was her job to sell as many books as she could, she knew how tight money was, living on a meagre grant, and having just graduated herself, made it her pledge to advise others to be more prudent with their expenses. "That comes to £41.69, please," she said. putting the books into a green, eco-friendly carrier bag. Adds up, doesn't it? Said Sebastian, as Kip handed the girl a £50 note. You make sure your friend buys the books next time, she said, handing the bag over. Oh, it's okay, said Sebastian. We'll go halves. So what do they call you? Candice asked, smiling and trying to make the boys blush. My name? Oh, it's Kip, he said, looking into the bag. He's a bit shy, said Sebastian, nudging him with his shoulder. They'll soon sort that out on the course, she said. Yeah, said Kip awkwardly. It seems so. The boys thanked Candice and attempted to leave, but standing in the doorway, blocking the exit, in a black leather biker's jacket, was Stella. Nice jacket, said Sebastian, reaching out with his hand. The jacket was the kind that had the long fringe of leather tassels running down the arms from the shoulders. Don't mess with it, she snapped. You were in there ages, she said, taking hold of Kip's hand. She then kissed Kip on the cheek. Are you two an item, then? Asked Spike. No, Kip quipped. Stella, noticing that Kip was feeling uncomfortable, remarked, Just a friendly peck. Just to say that I thought you were very brave this morning, Kip, and that I wasn't laughing at you. Kip, who was by far the most quirky boy amongst the new chicks, had fascinated Stella since she first set eyes upon him. But there was one thing that she didn't like, one thing that she thought wasn't right about him. We'll have to do something about your kiddie hair. Blonde hair makes you look like a soft touch. We need to toughen you up. End of chapter 4.